And we are here. Hi, it's Susan Cook with Rialto Academy. And I am speaking live today with Gina Tufano, one of my dearest friends and colleagues here in the Northern Virginia area, an iconic agent who I admire sometimes from afar, even though we're close to each other. We all get so busy that I just watch her on Facebook and all of her things that she's doing. So hi, Gina.
Text away. Hello.
Hi, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
My dog's going to bark a little because I just said hello. She thinks someone's at
the door. Well, after what you shared today about your puppy from last year, I'm so happy that you've gotten another pet to love.
Yes.
And I know you're so full of love and for everyone that I'm really excited to get to know you a little bit better and let the people out there know you a little. So how long have you been in real estate, Gina?
Since dinosaurs roamed the earth. 1996. I got my license in 96.
Wow. So when you first got into real estate, what were you doing as a brand new agent? Did you join a team or?
Oh, there were no teams in 96. It was you got thrown to the wolves. It was a little different. So I joined real estate because I had, for about 13 seconds, I was a dental hygienist up in New Jersey. And I moved down to Virginia when I was pregnant with Andrew. And we were looking for a house, and I was not licensed to do hygiene down here. And I would have to take a whole new board, whatever. And we're looking for a house, and I didn't really, I thought I could do better than every agent, and I kind of took it over. So I went and got my real estate license, and I was not my first home sale, but I was like my third selling my own house, buying a house. But it was a different world then. Like it wasn't the spirit of sharing that we have now. Information was not as easy to find. I would go into the office, and I was young. I was 22, 23. I mean, I was a baby.
Wow.
And I would go into the office and ask for help. Like, how do I make a brochure for an open house? And other agents would literally cover their paper and hide it. And this is back when you're getting your pictures printed and you're glue sticking them and the whole 9 yards. And I would be like, I can walk into your listing and go pick one up. Like, can you just help me here? But it was a very different atmosphere. It was trial by fire, really. So that's how I started. There wasn't a team atmosphere anywhere as far as I knew. There were a few husband and wife teams, but that was about it. Real estate. There were books, not an MLS.
There were books.
Only for my first 4 months was still books, and then we switched over.
I got my license in Florida, and I remember that. I think my first license was 97, 6 or 7. And I had these huge books that were like this, and you would get them like once a month. So by the end of the month, all of the listings were either sold or under contract, and you had no way of knowing unless you called the agent before you went and started showing. It was horrible.
I used to fax. So all the email things that we have now, I used to get people's fax numbers and fax them listings every day. Like, here you go. Where now we have, everything. Well, you can just get a feed from anywhere. But I used to be running the fax machine. That was like my big thing.
Oh, well, it worked though, didn't it? You got in the business, you stayed in the business, and you made it work. And that's just like, real estate 101. That's one of the things that separates the leaders in our industry, is the ones that figure out how to make it work no matter what. Always be shifty, right? Always be pivoting. Yeah. So what's your current volume right now? And I know you're running a team now. So what's your current volume?
So right now we have 61 properties sold for the year and 9 under contract. So we'd like to break 100. So if you know of anyone in the Northern Virginia area who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, give us a call.
Oh, yes. Awesome. Yeah. So what kind of, let's see, what have you implemented, to get that kind of business in your business? What's your niche? What would you say your niche is?
I'm about the people and the stories. Everybody who knows me, like, really knows me. I don't have a lot of secrets. I have my personal stuff, but I'm very open and I want to sit down. The very first thing I do when I go on a listing appointment or a buyer appointment, I sit down and I'm like, tell me what's going on. Like, just tell me, talk to me. What are you doing? How can I help you? And, what direction are you going in? And sometimes I leave and say, this is not really, like, from a financial standpoint, this would be an emotional decision. If that's what you want to do, I can walk you, but it's always getting the story and trying to help people. So on the team level, we count how many stories we've gotten. We don't necessarily count leads. We don't necessarily count transactions. I want to know how many stories they've gotten that week. That means how many people they've connected with. And then from those stories, we recently hired, well, not recently, I guess it's about a year and a half, a concierge. And she is not an ISA. She is not about sales. She is literally about calling our database, checking in. How are things going? We find out if people are having, if they want referrals for painters, or they having a problem with their tax value, or, they just want a CMA, or they just had a baby, or whatever it is. And we maintain contact that way. So instead of investing in an ISA, we invested in a concierge instead of counting leads. I do my lead count to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do, but we put more emphasis on the story, how many people we can connect to. The amount of money you make is in direct proportion to the amount of people you help.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Gina. That is awesome. And, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's the same thing. It's getting in a relationship with people,
Absolutely.
and filling their needs and doing an accurate and thorough needs analysis,
And having the fierce conversations.
That's it. That's it. So, well, let's see. That went through like 2 questions here. So, what technology are you using in your team today? Everybody's talking about technology and what everybody's using. We're using a piece of really amazing technology here to have this little video conversation.
Yes.
So, what kind of technology are you using today?
So I'm old school, and we were on for CRM and database. We have been on Top Producer for about 12 years and just switched this year in process to Brivity. It's a Ben Kinney product, KW. And it's a little bit of growing pains, but it's a lot more user-friendly. The agents like it better for lead follow-up and things like that. In general, we implement the plans, but we don't do a lot of, the only automation we have is to ping our clients, because the relationship is too important. We can't, I don't believe in canned emails, or I'm going to send a newsletter, or I'm going to do that. We do a lot of client parties, one-on-one. We really kind of go that way. So the technology that we implement, obviously we're on social media, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We get a lot of business from LinkedIn, which is that surprised me when it first started happening. We do. And I think it makes sense. People who are on LinkedIn are getting new jobs, they're moving. When you move, you need a new house. You get a raise, you need a new house. You get laid off, you need a smaller house, whatever, like they tie really well together. So we've been recognized for a lot of that social media aspects, but 95% of it is real. It's not automated. So we use technology as far as to remind us to do things. Like, I can sit there and program out when Facebook posts are going or when Instagram posts are going, but I'm making them. We're not hiring third-party services for any of that. That's all content's created by us. Yeah.
And I like that about what you're doing. It's not, you can always tell when somebody is doing something that they have had a third party do, because everybody else is doing it too. They're paying a monthly subscription. But when you're actually being thoughtful and systematically making a post that is impactful.
Technology for the systems. That's really, Kim is my admin. So right now we're Kim, myself, I have Jordan and Amanda, and Kim has an assistant, Shelly, who is our concierge, and we have a runner, Cody. So that's our group. So, and I stepped out of production a few months ago. So it's just the two agents who are in production, and we use technology to make sure that we do everything. It's more that those are our systems to remind us to check on contracts and, check in with title companies and lenders and do posts and do this and do that. But the actual stuff is us. There's very little automated life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and it shows. It really does show. So, give me a snapshot in the day in the life of Gina Tufano. What is a snapshot of the day in the life of Gina Tufano?
No two are the same, literally. Never. Some days. So today I was out the door at 7. Well, up at 5. Showered, dressed, showered Dylan, walked the dog, made breakfast, made lunch, got the backpack ready, out the door, got Dylan to school, did some running around for a new listing, took a few pictures, had coffee with the title rep, came back home, walked the dog again. And during all of that, I did about an hour of the social media posts for today, this morning. I did that this morning. Scheduled a few out for the future. Our team meeting call. See, I forget all of it. We had our team meeting call every Tuesday morning. That's for an hour. It's just all different. I mean, yesterday I spent it looking at wallpaper samples and, talking with builders. Every single day is different. The only thing I can tell you is my phone is always on silent. That's consistent because otherwise it would run my day instead of me running my day. I don't want the interruption. So when we're having this conversation, there's nothing to distract me. It's not on vibrate. It's face down in the corner. When we're done, I pick it up and I triage. Every day has probably about 4 or 5 hours of follow-up. And that can be text, phone, email. And it probably has 4 to 5 hours of triage where I forward and quick and so there's probably a good 8 hours of work, and then everything else is just people, whatever happens.
I like that the first thing after you've taken your son to school, which family is always the most important thing, is you're having a networking breakfast. You're having coffee with a title rep, which is so important. Those relationships are probably as important as our client relationships. So I wanted to ask you though, when you mentioned that you pick up the phone and triage, and I know what you're talking about, but you're responding to either emails, texts, or messages that you've got on your phone. Is that to clients or is that to your team?
More team than clients, but because so Kim my admin kicked me out of production in March. So there's very little client. It's all team. I do step in with clients. I don't want to step on my agent's toes. I totally have their back. So occasionally, if they copy me on an email, I will reply to all and, support them 100%. I never want them to feel like, I want them to feel independent and to feel confident in what they're doing. So if I feel like we need a conversation or they don't, they only have a few years experience, and some of that is good. They can give me a fresh perspective. But some of it is, just from doing this a million times, I don't take things personally that they do. Just remember that this is very emotional for their clients. And, as long as you're honest and quick, but it has become, I think the team has gotten a lot better because I'm now responsible to those 6 people, and I can be available to those 6 people like that. I can't be available to 30 clients like that. Like, when we have the boards full and we have 35 active things going on, I can't give 100% to that many things. If you split it up between the agents, and so then if I have 2 agents and they each have 12 things under contract, they can be responsive to those 12, and they know that they have me, Kim, Shelly, and Cody who have their back, and they know that the 4 of us answer to them immediately. So I think it has made us all a little bit better. I mean, I was very, very scared I was scared when I walked away from buyers. I was scared when I walked away from sellers. That scarcity mindset, like the fearful, I've never done this before. it's, as a team leader, it's hard to share that, like there's a little bit of a mindset. Sorry. Just like it's hard to hire an assistant. Somebody once told me how lucky I was to have an assistant. I'm like, lucky, yes, but luck, Ruby, hey, luck has nothing to do with it. It's work, and it's scary. My very first assistant, I had to pay her $200 a week, and I thought I was gonna go broke. Like, I was scared to death. And now the office, I don't even want to tell you what our expenses are, but with responsibility comes freedom, or freedom comes responsibility, or they are definitely hand in hand.
Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. I understand exactly what you're talking about. So, let's talk a little bit about one of the reasons why I really, really wanted to talk to you today. And you have done a lot to bring together the real estate community through your relationship building skills, through a TED Talk you did a few years ago, and you talked about your struggles. And I didn't want to say struggles, because I really happen to think that you have addressed that challenge, and you have triumphed over that challenge.
Yeah, and that kind of talks more about how I don't even refer to MS in it. Really that talk is, I might have to Ruby. That talk is all about me addressing my fears and overcoming them, and I left it generic. I left it generic so that anybody could relate to it with whatever they were doing. Whatever the fears were. If somebody tells you can't do something, is that really it? What if everybody pushed the odds? What if everybody, that's how the whole talk ends is, what if everybody just pushed the envelope a little bit? How much nicer would the world be?
Right. What if you just paid it forward and bought somebody coffee at Starbucks behind you? What would happen, if you did that? What if you just went out and knocked on a door and said, "Hi, my name is Susan Cook, and I'm a real estate agent in your neighborhood. I just wanted to get to know you." What would happen? Would that person hit you?
I taught Dylan who Santa was. Here, this is like a completely off topic, but totally on topic story. He asked me if Santa was real. And he's like, "This doesn't make sense, Mama." It doesn't. He's 7. It's almost 8, actually. Ruby, stay here. So he's like, "Is Santa real?" And I'm like, "Well, everybody is Santa." And he's like, "I knew it." And I'm like, "Well, we all have the spirit of Christmas in us. It's Christmas magic. Santa can't do that. We all give, and we give anonymously. And we do it to feel good. And I think you're ready. So this Christmas, we need to pick a person that you want to get something for. And we can't tell them who gave it to us, because you're ready to be Santa too. Like, you're ready to pay it forward and give it anonymously. And you'll see what it's like. And you'll understand why everybody gives at Christmas. We're all Santa." And so it kind of solves. He still thinks there's a Santa at the North Pole. Like, he's in this little middle ground here. But he understands how presents get everywhere.
Yeah. So that kind of brings up the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, is the community that you have grown, the Kind Gang and Lead with Kindness on Facebook, which is thousands and thousands of real estate agents and real estate professionals all over the country, right?
So it started, I want to say 3 years ago. I just started doing #KindGang every time. Like, I'm going to start a gang. It's going to be a kindness gang. And it just kind of became a thing. Like, I can be a gang leader, and kindness is cool. And Grace, a KW agent, called me one day and said, "Let's start a KW kindness group." And I'm like, "This is amazing." She's like, "Let's see if we could do something at family reunion or, one of the KW events." So it was originally called KW Kindness. And again, this is about 3 years ago. It grew probably in the first week to 1,000 people. Like, it just took off that first week. That first family reunion, we handed out
Kind Gang. I used to have one of those bracelets. Yes, I did.
And we also made bags that we handed out in the street to people with just, you know, treats and a little note. And like, that's just, I can't remember what it said, but they were little like goodie bags and
Mhm.
in it and kind bars. And they just said, be kind. And we would just randomly hand them out as we were in town. And because there were so many agents in town for the conference, it really made a difference. You know, it was, we started having luncheons and, you know, so we started having events held. I believe they had a class at the last one because it just has gotten bigger and bigger. But about a year ago, so maybe about a year and a half ago, we changed it from KW kindness to lead with kindness, because it's not just Keller, like more than Keller. You're not Keller, I'm not Keller. We both were Keller. Yes, Keller's a great company. There are lots of great companies and there are a lot of kind people, and it really doesn't matter what logo is, you know, whether you have a balloon or, you know, whatever behind you, it doesn't matter. The whole point of a kind gang is, you know, open and sharing and growth and contribution. And so we thought the KW was limiting and we dropped it and we called it Lead with Kindness. And then we started inviting in pretty much anyone in the real estate industry, you know, how we can do that. And sometimes they're just little quotes, they're motivational videos, they're self-care ways to take care of yourself, to grow your team. The group has really, it's become somewhat of a home. And it was Grace who made the phone call. It was me. I created the hashtag. Grace came up with the idea, and together we built this amazing community. And it's pretty awesome. Join our kind gang. Well, lead with kindness.
Yes, lead with kindness and hashtag kind gang.
Yep.
And so what can you say, because you've been such an instrumental part in gathering this group of people, how has that impacted your life? You know, because you've given a lot to grow that particular thing. How's that empowered you or enhanced your life? And, you know, can you give me an example of how you have been blessed by doing that and giving to the community like that?
So I don't give to receive. I do give to feel good. I mean, I get something out of it. I truly give, you know, to make a difference. The one thing that jumps out at me, my last flare was about a year and a half ago, and it was bad, and I was depressed, and I was in the hospital again, and I was not happy. My kind gang just started sending me notes, and I didn't even know they did it, and I must have gotten, I couldn't even tell you, 100, 150 notes and of encouragement and support, and they just started showing up in the mail. And I would sit there in bed when I couldn't get out of bed, and I would just, tears of gratitude. Dylan sees me opening this mail. Dylan brings me note cards so I can send more notes back out and like continue it. And so that was the one time that it kind of surprised me. Like I didn't realize how big it was until it hit home like that. And I was humbled. I was truly humbled by the amount of support that I got and the outpouring. The other thing is just in how I raised Dylan. He sees me, like I embody these beliefs. Like this is not a show. Like this is not the show. This is Gina. I don't air all my dirty laundry, but I will say if I'm struggling, and I'll be quiet and then tell you how I got through it is more my MO. But it's all real. So Dylan, a song came on the radio, and I can't think of the name of it now. I wish I could. And we had heard it for the first time just a few months ago. And in something like that, if I could remember it would be perfect. But the words were something like, you don't give up. Like I'm not wired that way, or I can't. Something about not being wired that way, like you can't give up. And I can't remember the song, but that was the refrain. And Dylan is listening to it, and he goes, "That's you, Mama. We never give up." And I was just like that's making a difference. Like that's like, I look at my older boys, at what they're doing and what they're capable of. And I just think as I've grown in the 20 years of parenting, it's snowballed. It has snowballed. You know, I already think my oldest has surpassed me. My middle one is getting there. But Dylan, I was telling someone this morning, he is the oldest soul I've ever known. Like I'm in awe of his brain and how it works and how he connects things and how he is always thinking. I mean, already he's 7. He thinks poop is funny, but you know, he's still 7, but he gets it. Like we had a conversation about 9/11 this morning for the first time. I told him what it was. And he was a little scared. You know, I didn't go into the total scary part, but I ended it with, when you see a policeman or a fireman or a service, you know, an army person, a service person, say thank you, because they're the ones protecting you. You know, they're the ones who are keeping us safe. And he's like, well, I get the police and the firemen. And he's like, but the army? And I said, I know you don't like fighting. He's like, yeah. I go, but sometimes you have to. We always use our words first, but they're willing to stand up and protect you. And for that, we owe them all our gratitude and all our support. And that was the 9/11 lesson. Like, instead of fear mongering and hate, and it was love and unity and come together, and we're all going to help each other.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome, sweetheart. Well, that answered number 13. So, what are your long-term plans for, you know, charitable works? You know, do you have any expansion plans for your team? You know, I know you want to reach 100 this year. Mm-hmm. What about 2019? What are your plans for 2019?
2019, I want to do the whole year as 7th level. I want to empower my team to grow. I want to help them grow. I want to, you know, it's the same. If I can help them, they can touch more people and more people and more people. So I truly see, I can see them even thinking ahead to where they're excited about growing in the team and getting more responsibility. And they're thinking about who they want to bring in under them to help them grow. And so I think you reach a point in the team where it will grow. I've built something that can grow. Like, so I've invested the last year, and I will all of next year, into the people at the top of my team, so that it will just become a thing. Like, you plant the tree and you take care of it and you nurture it and you fertilizer it, but at some point the tree then just starts dropping acorns and doing it itself. And that's kind of where I think we are right now. We're almost to the point where the acorns are going to start falling and little trees pop up all around it.
Yeah. That's so cool, Gina. That's so cool. So anything you want to say, you know, on how people can reach you, you know, or you know, for a referral, or for to talk to you about your team and your plans for growth, you know, if they're interested in joining you, if you have openings in your team?
Well, we are always looking for talent. You know, we will never turn away talent. Particularly, I'm looking for a little bit of social media help, but I found that's a tough, you know, I have some big shoes to fill on that one. But we're looking for it. I can be found on Facebook. I can be found anywhere, just at Gina Tufano. You'll find me on Twitter. You'll find me on Instagram. You'll find me on LinkedIn. It's just Gina Tufano. Our phone number is the office number, 703-574-3478. My cell number is gold, and if you get it, you are special. So for anyone listening who has it, it is gold. And going forward, I'll be at Tom Ferry's seminar in Baltimore next week. If anyone's going to be there, I think that's next week. Are you going? Are you going to Tom Ferry?
No, I am planning a couple of events here locally. I think I'm going to go to Williamsburg for an event that I'm planning on teaching down there. So,
what are you teaching?
You know, KV Core, the website that we have at my new company, and you know, there's lots of agents that need my help, and that's what I do. You know,
that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm going, if anyone in Nova is heading up to Baltimore, or if anyone from around is going to Baltimore, hook up with me. I'll happy to grab lunch, or, you know, a cup of coffee, or sit together at Tom Ferry next week.
Yeah.
I want to credit Tom Ferry. I do credit him for like most of my business. I'm going to plug Tom Ferry here for a second. My first 10 years, I was your typical neighborhood realtor mom. You know, like I would do friends and family and, you know, maybe 10 houses a year and nothing that big. In 2006, after the market crashed, I started building a team. I went to a Tom Ferry one day event. A loan officer, Amy Waltz, if she's out there, she's still there, invited me to go with her. And Tom said to make one appointment a day and to change your definition of what that appointment was. And I'm like, how can I make one appointment a day? Nobody's buying or selling a house. I don't know anybody, blah, 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 limiting beliefs all over the place. And he's like, change your definition. Just talk to somebody every single day about real estate and just do it every single day. Call someone you admire and tell them you admire them. I called John Ferguson, a neighbor of mine who's a great financial planner. And I was scared to death because I was still young and, didn't really have a lot of experience. And I looked up to him like he's this amazing person. And I just called him and I said, I admire your business and I just want to learn more about how I can be like you. That conversation has developed an amazing friendship that has gone, like I impacted him as much as he impacted me that day. And so that whole thing with Tom Ferry in the beginning, it was just that one little piece that changed me from 10 houses a year to 30. Like it was just that one shift where all of a sudden I needed help. All of a sudden I needed an assistant like that in a down market, like in the pits of the pit I was growing. The next time I ran into Tom Ferry was when Inman honored me as one of the social influencers or something. I met him at the stock exchange for a happy hour when his book came out. So I was sitting in, some free seminar as an agent, selling maybe 10 houses a year to now in New York with him at a private happy hour, signing books and taking pictures. The next time I see him is at a Tony Robbins event. And I love Tony. Yes. And I was working it and he was there with his son. And we helped him across fire. I helped him walk across fire. So if that's not a full circle kind of thing, he helped me build my business. I helped him walk across fire. And in the middle, we had a party. So that is why I'm going to Tom Ferry's next week.
Well, good for you, girl. Good for you. And I should have known that you would have somebody in your life that was either mentoring you or coaching you.
I have a million coaches. It takes a lot to fix this.
Well, yeah. At one time, I think I had 3. So I understand. I totally relate. I believe in coaching. I, coach myself. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you again for being on this Facebook Live with me today, Gina. And, I got to know you a little bit better, which I'm always happy to do. And let's grab coffee sometime soon, girl. Just be friends, right?
Absolutely.
Take care, sweetie.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.